Morning, everyone. This is Shamir, and today is Monday. As usual, we will begin with our heart-focused breathing technique. And welcome. I trust you can all hear me well. So let us begin our morning ritual. The first 5 minutes we're going to be spending on doing a heart-focused breathing technique. We have a couple of new people, so we'll just go through this technique very shortly. So the first thing for heart-focused breathing technique, it allows you to clear your mind and become more present. And this is called heart-focused breathing from HeartMath. And essentially what this is where you place awareness in the area of your heart. And then you begin to take slow, deep breaths and visualize these breaths flowing in and out of your heart area. And we do this for about 5 minutes. So let us begin. I don't have the animation today, unfortunately. There is a bug in my webinar program, and they're fixing it. So we'll just have to go with my voice today. So place the awareness in the area of your heart. Take slow, deep breaths and visualize these breaths flowing in and out of your heart area. Breathing slower and deeper than normal. Deep breaths in. And exhale. A guideline to use is a 5-second count in and 5-second count out, all the while maintaining awareness in the area of your heart. I'm trying something different right now. I'm showing you my desktop, which may have the cycles there, the animation. And if you can see it, please follow through with the animation. Take a deep breath in as the ball rolls up to the hill, and exhale as it goes down. These are paced at 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Deep breaths in. And exhale. Be sure to place your awareness around your heart area as you're doing these deep breaths in and exhaling. Wonderful. Just feel your body slow down. And you may get some thoughts coming through your mind. It's all right to have these thoughts. This is not meant to be a still, thoughtless meditation. It's meant to allow your body to move the thoughts around as you take deep breaths in and exhale. But be the observer of your thoughts. Do not get engaged in those thoughts. Maintain a neutral emotional state. Sometimes when a thought comes up or a feeling comes up, just say to yourself, that's interesting. Wonder why I'm feeling that way. For those of us who have been doing this for a month or more, since we started this, try and keep your eyes open while you're taking these deep breaths in and exhaling out. Because eventually what we want to do is be able to do this while we are engaged in life. So as we are driving, of course we need to keep our eyes open. But we also need to have our body trained so that it does these deep breathing techniques while we are driving, placing attention in the area of our heart. We'll do this for 1 more minute. Our heart has a magnetic field that reaches out to about 3 feet. Now scientists at other laboratories have measured this to about 8 feet. The brain's magnetic field reaches out only a few inches. So you know that the heart has a more powerful presence and has a more powerful effect to your body than the brain does. Brain is very important, of course, but it is the heart that we must center our attention on, because it's the heart that is actually the synchronizing beacon to the rest of our body. Wonderful. So today's theme is discover your true calling. And one of the things that happened to me was I was thick in the corporate world, and I was really enjoying it. But at the center of my heart, I felt that there was something else for me to discover. I just didn't know what it was. It took me 3 years to finally line it up. And what I found out was, there were many people telling me I was a very good engineer. And, just very recently, I began to realize that really what made me appear to be a good engineer was really my ability to connect other people with their highest potential. And to me, I found that to be my calling. But I didn't know that. I just thought I was a good engineer, and I would have pursued that engineering track to its nth degree. But then when I stepped back, I always knew that if I had $1 gazillion in my bank, that what I would do is just travel around the world and just speak from the stage, and just share with people my passion about science and spirituality. So what is your $1 million solution? And I'll call that for now. If you had $1 gazillion in your bank and money was no object for you, and if you were the smartest person in the world and you could never fail at anything that you choose, what would you choose? Now here, what I'd like you to do is combine the heart-focused breathing with this question. So I'm going to guide you through this in the next 2 minutes. Is if you had absolutely all the freedom in the world, no impediments, no barriers, and you didn't have to work for a living, what would you do? Take a deep breath in and visualize these breaths flowing into your heart and out of your heart, and begin to observe what thoughts come to you, what inspiration you get from that. Now, as you come up with something and you get some epiphanies, feel free to respond and chat in the chat area. Just take deep breaths in. Visualize these breaths flowing in and out of your heart. You're going to get an extra long heart-focused breathing today, normal than usual. What is it that gives you joy and pleasure? I know that the first time I tried this technique, I had a difficult time coming up with something. It was almost like there was a buffet of choices for me. And it was so liberating. It's like you almost got out of a 54-year prison. You're going out and you're seeing this new world, and you've just kind of introduced yourself to possibilities that you could be anything else but a prisoner. And all of a sudden there's so many choices out there, and you get paralyzed. Thank you, Michelle, for your comments. Michelle says, share the wonderments of observing and being with nature and sound. Janet, write, speak, heal. Natalie, I'm already doing it, inspiring people through writing plus working as a healer. Absolutely, that's wonderful. That's so wonderful. And this just reinforces it that you are on the right path. I'm so excited for you. And you will grow there. Once you've decided that you want to be a healer, there are also a gazillion ways you can be a healer. So now your job, Natalie, is to find out what vehicle through which I will ride to become a healer, or what does that look like in terms of the earthly form of that expression. And really what we're trying to do now in the next segment, what we'll do is we will now take this and we will give it earthly expression, because there are many ways. If you're a healer, you could be a nurse, a doctor, a dentist, and anything you want, and the choices are still vast out there. So what earthly expression will your desire, your true calling take? And sometimes it's an exploratory, it's something you have to explore. So Shelley, to do research in energy and help others heal mentally, emotionally, and physically. Wonderful. So now let's let's go into the next phase of this particular coaching segment for another 5 minutes. And this is called the quick coherence technique. And what I'll do is I will actually take you through the quick coherence technique, but I'll guide you to explore the earthly forms of your true calling and true desire, and what does that look like. And you may not have anything that's very concrete, because you may what you are going to create out there has not been created before. So give yourself the freedom to explore something that is not already out there. Do not box yourself into the current menu offerings that are out there, because you're creating a new recipe out there. So open yourself up for that, and let us begin this process now. So we'll do the same thing as we did earlier. We'll place the awareness in the area of our hearts, and then take slow, deep breaths and visualize these flowing in and out of our heart area. And as we get into that rhythm, begin to experience a positive feeling, a positive emotion. Recall that emotion from the past, something that makes you feel amazing. It's a signal to your body that you are ready to step up and rise to your calling. There is no danger facing you. So your body is now busy helping you step into your life purpose. Deep breaths in, visualize them flowing into your heart, out of your heart. And continue to experience a positive feeling. Put a gentle smile on your face, because that is going to help. Beautiful. And now begin to walk through. Take that elated feeling that you had, your passion for what you wanted, what your talent is going to be to serve humanity, and see if you can find an expression. See if you can find an earthly form that begins to unravel that expression. Where will you start? Because you always have to start from the known to the unknown. The unknown being something that you have yet to create, and it's waiting for you. It's taking shape. It's out in the ethers. Hasn't been created yet, because you haven't played your part yet. And perhaps you need others to play your part. But visualize what this looks like in your limited understanding of what this looks like right now, and begin to allow it to take an earthly shape. And focus on the feeling of that. So transform the feeling that you've had in the past, the positive feelings that you're experiencing now, and now transform that into the feeling you would have if that took its full form of what you'll be doing. So what are you doing in that future state of yours that you're living your life's work? What will it feel like? What will it look like? Who's around you? What does it smell like? Begin to immerse yourself in that as you take the slow, deep breaths, visualizing these breaths flowing in and out of your heart, in chest area. And continue to experience this blissful feeling of having achieved your desire. Wonderful. That is the 15 minutes. Those 15 minutes flew by fast for me. I don't know if it did for you as well, but it was wonderful. And now this is an optional 15-minute part. We can stay around and ask any questions you have. Just type it in the chat box. I'm happy to respond. It doesn't have to be with respect to today's theme. It could be any theme that we talked about, anything to do with heart-mind alignment. So feel free to type the chat, your questions into the chat box. And of course, if you are having to get going, because this is a 15-minute presentation, feel free to exit. I won't feel bad. And again, a replay will be sent out as usual. Natalie, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Natalie, you and I have had an opportunity to you interviewing me on the heart, the power of the heart. And I know that things are taking shape for you, and I'm excited. I'm really excited for you. Zara, thank you for your question. Zara asks, how can I trust myself, my heart, my judgments? You know, that's a very good, excellent question. We often don't trust ourselves because we defer. We've been taught to defer our ideas to others who we perceive to have bigger authority. So I'll give you an example. At my corporate job, is often I would have this intuitive feeling that we need to move in a certain direction, and there would be a few others who are at my level, managers, who would say, no, that's not the right direction, this is the right direction. Although I felt that was the wrong direction, every ounce of my being felt it was the right direction, the thoughts that dominated my mind at the time were, you know what, they must know what they're talking about because they're speaking so forcefully in this. And I would defer the judgment to them 6 months later to find out that my thoughts were exactly where they should have gone. And as a matter of fact, they would have diverted their path to meet where I said they should have been 6 months ago. It's often these examples, Zara, that you come across in life. The universe is very benevolent. And what the universe will do is it'll present you these challenges where you are faced with not trusting yourself. But then the key is for you to reflect at the end of that as things unfold for you. And every time you say, I should have followed my instinct, is a reinforcement and sign from your body saying you need to trust yourself. So it's not the how can I trust myself. The answer to that is practice trusting yourself. When you feel something that says I need to move in this direction, you know what? Release the responsibility to the universe, and just follow your heart. Now that is one thing. The second thing is trusting in an inspirational thought is different from trusting in a fear-based thought. So, for example, if you are going for a job interview and you feel scared, and you call in sick, that's not trusting your instinct per se, but that's basically saying that I'm making my decision based from fear rather than inspiration. So part of trusting yourself is to distinguish between, is this an inspirational based thought that I have that inspires me to move forward, or is this just the fear that's holding me back? And do you know what are some of the traits? And I'd like to ask everybody to chime in here in your chat box. What are some of the traits? What does your body feel like? Or what does it feel like to have an inspirational thought versus a fear-based thought? Can we distinguish that? Because that's important. So Zara, you may want to type in about a past experience where you've had an inspirational thought versus a fear-based thought, and what did that feel like? I've often heard others say, and I truly believe this, that inspiration is more subtle than fear. Inspiration is a gentle tapping of your soul to your body saying, does this feel nice? And that's inspiration. And when something feels good and something feels right, you are being gently nudged in that direction. And trust that feeling of yours. Now, when yes, thank you, Zara, your comments. In fear-based thought, my body was shaking. It was like I knew I am not doing it right. And Natalie, the heart speaks calm and loving. Fear is pushy. Yes, exactly. And so, I mean, I'm not saying abandon fear, because fear is very important as well. It's also the antithesis of love. So there are, if you ever heard or read Neale Donald Walsch's book, Conversations with God, he talks about there are only two emotions, fear and love. Now, how do you know love if you haven't known fear? How do you know what cold is unless you know hot? So fear is a very much part of your life, and there is some fear that is healthy. You can get a sense of, oh, I should not be going down this dark alley, and that is your intuition speaking to you. It may be gentle, it may not feel, you may feel the presence of everything around you, and you'll have a situational awareness around you when you're feeling that. So when you have a situational awareness around you and you're not panicked, that, along with that gentle nudging, becomes an inspirational based thought. So Carla, inspiration always still makes me giggle at some level. Absolutely. I may have some fear at the same time in my gut, but it is a loving feeling too, and just tells me I will have the support around me as I need and as I move through the inspiration. That's a wonderful way of really testing to see if this is fear or not, because if you can say, if I'm feeling an onset of fear, am I feeling an onset of supporting inspiration that says, you will be held gently as you move through this mastery. And that's the key, is, there's that becoming a master of something by going through and passing the test in grade 1 to move into grade 2, for example, because it takes a lot of anxiety to get through that test. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't take it. It just means that it's the next level of mastery. And the reason you're taking that exam is you know already that that's not an unknown for you, that if you take this exam, it's the next level of your mastery. Life is much like that, is you experience life through challenges, and that begets growth. And through that growth, then that becomes normal, and then the next challenge presents to you. If you do not go through that growth, you will keep repeating that grade over and over again. And that's okay too. Nothing wrong with that. But it's a choice. Remember, it's a choice you have to make. So this is a wonderful question you asked, Zara. Please practice and don't get drawn into too many thoughts about this in your head. The way I would do it, I would just feel into this and say, okay, does this feel right? Am I inspired? And use the heart-focused breathing technique and the quick coherence technique. So the 3 steps that I mentioned, use that in order to break through that fear-based thinking, because what that'll do is it's actually shown to open up your wisdom. So the 3 steps again are: place your awareness in the area of your heart, take slow deep breaths and visualize these flowing in and out of your heart, and then experience positive feelings. When you do that, your heart will actually allow you to tap into the wisdom which only you have, and it'll give you the right context to push through. So if you practice this while you are facing a challenge or an issue, and you're not trusting yourself, go back into your heart. You can always trust your heart as long as you put the heart in the driver's seat. Engineers like me had a hard time doing that. I had to always calculate my way out of everything, and it's 30 years of training in using my brain and not my heart to move through, because I lived in an empirical based society where everything had to be calculated and proven, and I had to unlearn all of that and add my heart to it so that I could actually become a more powerful thinker, and not reducing my brain power. That's not what we do. But what we do is we supplement our intelligence, our thinking through the brain, our mind. We supplement that with our heart and give it that much more richer, powerful access to source energy. Natalie, my intuition doesn't argue like my mind. Michelle, thank you for your comments as well. Thank you for all the wonderful insights. Yes, isn't that wonderful, Natalie, that sometimes we get into the argument in our heads. It's like, yeah, we do this and we do that. What if that happens? And the heart actually quietens the argument down, cuts through the butter, and says, hey, this is inspirational. This is where you need to go. And we all follow our hearts. Thank you, Zara. You know what? If you do the heart-focused breathing technique, do it for 15, and everybody, do it for 15 minutes a day. And 5 to 15 minutes a day, do it. And the way I do it is when I have the snooze button. I always hit the snooze button when my alarm goes off. And when I hit the snooze button, I do these deep breathing techniques. I do the heart-focused breathing, and I think of positive things all the time. And I also mentioned last week, if those of you are here, I've got a Facebook group that that I'll send a link out to, which is nothing but your happy thoughts. So it's, if you're ever feeling like you can't reach for that positive feeling, and I know a lot of people that come to my workshop say, well, when I'm feeling down and depressed, I can't reach for that positive feeling. And the importance of that positive feeling, it opens your wisdom up. There's a scientific basis to what I'm saying on this one, is that when you open up your heart, there's an actual flow of information that goes to the heart. And when you're in fear-based, that closes the heart. Remember, fear versus love. So if you open up the heart, and the way you open up a heart is to actually bring forward positive thoughts. And you can do that. And if it's hard for you to reach for that because you're feeling down and out and anxious, then go to the Facebook page, and it's got nothing but amazing, inspirational, and laughter-based videos and photographs and memes and things like that. That'll quickly pick you up, and then you can hold on to that emotion and take deep breaths in and visualize these flowing in and out of your heart. That essentially kicks you out of your depth of misery and into some positive feeling. And for that fleeting moment, for the 15 minutes that you do that, will be enough to boost your immune system. It'll be enough to reverse your aging process. It'll be enough to help you tap into the inner wisdom, which you so need to say, okay, what are my next steps? So thank you for that wonderful question, Zara. That was quite a question. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today again, and I look forward to seeing all of you, or at least talking to all of you next week. I will be sending out a replay sometime this week so that you can always tap into this. There are also, you can access past replays on, when I send you this link, you'll have access to a playlist on the YouTube channel of past replays. And I also release an abbreviated version for the public, and you can also access those or share those with the others. So thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for your engagement. And I always look forward to Mondays and spending that Monday morning with you.
And then, are you excited? Can you hear everything?
He's like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, you can